Hi, my name is Coleman, and today I'm going to be going over with you about social media and the hidden dangers it actually poses, and why we'd be better just to push it aside and distance ourselves from social media as much as we can. Now, social media is a great tool for us, but I think that there are hidden dangers that we need to address. So have you ever gone through on your phone, spent all day looking at social media, looking at what others have? You would not be the only one. Uh, there is practically everyone under the age, especially if you're American, age of 50, who has a phone and has some sort of social media. Can you honestly think of someone who does not either have a smartphone or social media? It is so prevalent, so part of today's society, it is hard to imagine now life without it. We live in a world now where it is so easy to be a part of social media that it's hard not to be. To have basic contact for work sometimes, we have to go on social media. Every job I can think of off the bat really requires a cell phone, and the access is what is really going to make this a hidden danger. I myself used to be addicted to social media. I would spend all day looking at what other people had and what everyone else was doing with their lives and how I could one-up them or just be the best me, that I forgot to live my own life. So today I want to go over why I think social media is bad for you. And I hope I can convince you to make the decision for yourself under some deep reflection why you yourself should distance yourself as much as you can from social media. Social media is close to being an addiction. It's a hidden addiction. And the first step of addiction, to combat addiction, is to realize that you have a problem. This is why you say, well, the first step to recovery is to admit you have a problem. I think we're stuck there. I truly believe as a society we're stuck there. We haven't really acknowledged this issue. We see all the good from social media, but none of the bad, and that's kind of an irony as I go further into this. Now, I am never really a good critic when it comes to religious texts and using what they say. However, there is one critique on religious texts that I will never forget. It is something I feel is applicable to all things, especially this one. French poet and philosopher Charles Baudelaire. He has a very famous quote, but one I love, that says, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince everyone that he did not exist." I might have gotten a little off, but that's the main idea. Is basically that the best trick a force of evil can do is to convince you that it's not there to combat. How do you fight something that's not there? I'm here to really help you guys understand and open your eyes to the fact that the devil is in the social media. It is there, and it is something to combat. So going about more of the history of social media, this all kind of started in 2008, and I kind of mentioned this as to why it just kind of snuck up on us. This happened very fast because the rise of social media also came with the rise of smartphones, and it kind of, at the same time, this blitz of technology just skyrocketed. In 2005, there were other social medias, such as MySpace, but especially in the beginning, not everyone really had one, and you need to do it on the phone. But as smartphones came into play, and same time as social media, everyone hopped on board at the same time without really realizing what they were doing. This great tool for communication and the means for communications all just kind of came at once, and we all kind of blitzed into that. And what that has done, it has created this society where we have now put a crutch all on social media, especially a developing teenager. What's the perfect gift for your teenager? To show that you trust them, give them some responsibility, and also to keep in touch with them as they become an adult. It's a cell phone. In my personal experience, everyone in my middle school, between 6th to 8th grade, sometime in one of those years, received a cell phone. And with that too, everyone, especially going into high school, hopped on the social media train. In fact, I would say by the end of my high school career, that everybody I knew had a cell phone. Every staff member, every student, there was not one person who did not A, have a cell phone, or B, be on some sort of social media. I feel like it is especially bad for developing teenagers because we're in that time, we're hormonal, we're definitely very challenging of our own self-image. We seek approval and redemption in through others' eyes. Every high school trope from any movie in the 80s and 90s is all a popularity contest. And this kind of evolved in a way, social media, in a way that we didn't really understand. There have been a few critiques on it, but it just happened so fast, I don't think we're admitting there's a problem here. It's the same bullying under a different mask. And the bullying is really hidden in this context because it becomes a game of self-comparison. So we as humans, we seek validation. It's just what we do. From evolution, this is kind of where it stems from. We became better survivors when we went as a pack, and we seek approval from the pack. I can prove this right now because if I say I like your shoes, you feel good. If I say I don't like your Crocs, I don't think they count as shoes, you feel pretty bad. And it's because of this that we always want to do the right thing. We want to put out what we feel like is going to get the most positive feedback back. And teenagers especially are very susceptible to this, very self-critical. Social media, however, is fake. It is a play we put on about our very best, and it has no real weight, but we take it so seriously. And the reason for this is we go online, and again, we're not going to post about our bad days. We're going to post the very best. We're going to show what we have, what we're doing, all the fun things. So we see everyone's best, but we have all the memories of our failures. We see nothing but wins on social media. But we have in our memories nothing but the failures. And so when we compare, we look at that. We are compare and pattern recognizing machines. We feel bad. We feel like we're doing something wrong. We feel judged, we feel bad, and we want to enter this rat race of popularity, and then we put something that we feel could get us a lot of likes, and then that is kind of an A-B comparison. Person A does that, and then person B, it becomes this game of who can do better, all the while the only person getting crushed at the bottom is yourself. Like, be honest with yourself. Have you ever had a time in which you went, wow, that was a great social media time I spent on there? No, you haven't. Maybe there was that one time you got that like from your crush and it felt pretty good, but it's always been a game of feeling bad about looking at the lives other people have. You know Edison as the guy who made the light bulb, but not the guy who failed 1,000 times. And there's a reason for that. And I'd almost be interested to see how that would play out today if he was to do this in today's society. As TED Talker Bailey Parnell puts, who presents herself as an expert in these sort of things, she believes that we compare our behind-the-scenes reels to everyone's highlight reels. And that is so true. We have all the memories of our failures, but none of their goods. And this makes us feel bad. This makes us feel like the fish that's going against the water. In psychology, there's an example of all these students who were in on a prank. One student was not. The teacher gave an obvious answer, but all the students who were in on it gave the wrong answer, while the student was convinced that the right answer was not the right one anymore, even though at first he was right, he was correct, because we are so afraid to go against the current. And it is this fear that has enabled us to only show our best, and it really is just an inflating process that really just pinballs off of one another. So in conclusion, social media is brand new, it's exciting, but it came on us fast, and we need to acknowledge that there are issues with it. We have to tackle it. We know that social media only shows the best, while we carry the weight of our worst. I hope that you take all this information and you really think about it, and you can convince yourself that you will free yourself by spending as little time on social media as you can. Thank you.